A palindrome is a word that is spelled the same forward and backward. So for example, Bob is an example of a palindrome. Race car is another example of a palindrome. Hello is not an example of a palindrome. In this exercise, we're going to write a program that uses a vector to determine if a word is a palindrome or not. What I want to do is I want to create a function, we'll call it build word or build reverse word, that takes a word or a string and reverses it and outputs that reversed word so that we can compare it with the original word the user enters to determine if the word is a palindrome. So we're going to write a function that returns a string, so our return data type is string. We'll call it build rword to build a reversed word. And it will take a string word as its parameter. The way we're going to do this is we're going to first put the string into a vector. Then we're going to use a built-in function called reverse to reverse the order of the vector. Then we're going to create another word, the reversed word, from that reversed vector and output that as the return value of our function. And then we can use that to compare to the original word to see if the word's a palindrome. So we're going to need a string rword, that's the reversed word. We'll set it to empty string. Then we need a vector to store our word, we'll call it wrd. And then we need to loop through the string and put the letters into the vector. The way we do that is we start at the beginning of the string, 0, move through the end of the string, which we can find by using a function called length, which is part of the string class. And for each single value of I, we'll say word pushback, word word dot substring I1. That's going to take us through each position of the string, starting at position 0 through the last position in the string, and put those letters into our vector. Then all we have to do is reverse the vector using the reverse function, which is similar to the sort function, except this time we're reversing the order from the beginning to the end. So that's how the reverse function works. We start at the beginning of the sequence to the end of the sequence and just reverse the order. Then we're going to take the reversed vector and write out each letter in order to our rword variable. So we're going to say for int I equals 0, I less than word dot size plus plus I, rword plus equal, and we can do this with a string, word sub I. And then we will return our word from the function. Okay. Now we're ready to use that in a program. So we'll start out. We'll say string a word, cout, enter a word, cin a word. We won't have to use the getLine function here because we're going to assume that the user only enters a single word. Okay. Then we write string rword or ra word for reverse a word is equal to build rword with a word, the original word. Okay. Then we can say if ra word equals a word, cout a word is a palindrome, indel, else cout a word is not a palindrome. Indel. There we go. All right, let's build and run the program and see if it works. So we'll do one that we know is a palindrome, Bob. Bob is a palindrome. All right. Let's try a word that's not a palindrome, hello. Hello is not a palindrome. Let's try another one. Let's do race car. Race car. Race car is a palindrome. So I feel pretty confident that the function and the program works correctly. One of the keys to learning computer programming is to know what data structure and what technique to use in a particular situation. The only way you really gain that is through experience. But what I wanted to show in this exercise is how the type of data structure you pick can help you in solving a problem, because I know that if I put my letters into a vector, I can use the reverse function to move them around and reverse their order so that I can check to see if the word's a palindrome.